Challenges in accessing material for house construction due to COVID-19 related travel restrictions as well as low demand has seen developers go slow on investment decisions. Betty Kiptum spoke to Mizizi Africa Homes CEO George Mburu about how housing industry is coping with COVID-19 related challenges and the prospects post the pandemic.
High prices of housing units had caused a glut, especially in the city of Nairobi. That, compounded with the coronavirus pandemic, made the situation even worse. To just give us an overview of how the real estate sector is performing, is coping, and what the future looks like is George Mburu. He is the Chief Executive Officer at Mizizi Africa Homes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We will start right there. How is the sector performing at this time?
At the moment, and generally, the economy has had a slump. It has had a big slump, which is not only here in Kenya, it's globally, across the globe. Yeah, so the corona pandemic has brought economic hit. Yeah, and for sure it has affected each and every sector, not excluding the housing. Yeah, but also with the pandemic, so many lessons to be learned and new ways of looking at things. Yeah, so those are the things that we shall be talking. Yeah, and seeing the way forward.
Right. Let's just start there with the challenges that the sector is facing right now. Could you just delve into that a little bit?
Yeah. So for one, also the Kenyan shilling has had a hit.
Right.
It's at its weakest. And some of the materials that we normally use at the site for construction, because of the dollar fluctuations, they have also gone up. Things like things that we normally get from outside, things like tiles, paint has also gone up because the paint material used. Yeah, some of the materials that we don't get locally, the prices have gone up, which is also could affect the affordability of the houses, because we do affordable housing, and also generally people don't have money. Yeah, like a lot of everybody now, the cash inflow is not as much as it used to be. Yeah, so the purchasing power has gone down. Yeah, so that has had a negative impact generally. Yeah, but on the positive side, it has made people realize that some of these things that people used to see as luxury, like owning a home, people have realized it's a necessity. Because previously, when you are paying rent and you're in a good job, you are a well-paying job, you are satisfied. Now people have realized that having a home is very important, because you can lose the job that you normally, just like that. There are so many people, like it was reported over 3,000 people have lost their jobs. Yeah, so people have come from their comfort zone. You used to have your job, you are okay, you are getting your mortgage, let's not even say the mortgage loans to buy maybe your car, you furnish your house, you go outside Kenya. Yeah, so those things were considered normal. Now they are seeing some of those things, now they are the luxury. Right. The things that were considered luxury, like owning a home, now people have seen it's a necessity. Right. Yeah, so it has brought a change of point of view. Yeah.
So as much as people do not have as much money as they would have previously, or maybe they are keeping what they have for maybe survival right now, do you foresee that the market will pick up now?
Yeah, definitely the market will pick up. When the first time the corona came, everybody was in panic. Everybody was going to the shopping to get what they could get. Right. Yeah, but with time, people now have come to understand corona, and for one, it is not as bad as it was initially thought, because it was like a death sentence. Like you get it, you automatically, you are gone.
Yeah. So there is a bit of a paradox in Kenya, really. There are over 200,000 housing units deficit annually. That's compounding. And then at the same time, there's a bit that there's a glut, and an oversupply of some units. How does that work?
It's a matter of economics. Economics, demand, supply, and pricing.
Right.
Yeah. So those things they come to play. Like you find there are so many houses but the prices are so high. So the demand is there, or the desire, we normally call it the desire is there, but you can't afford.
Right.
So as much as you may wish to have that house, you find that the price now is making you to not get it. Yeah, but also that's something that this pandemic has brought on forth, that affordability is key. And we really thank the government, and that's what we are doing as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited. We are supporting the government in its affordable housing agenda, because affordability is the key here.
Yeah.
The demand is there, the desire is there, but now the affordability.
Right.
If you have looked around, you will find the luxury, the high end, the high end houses. They are there, but no customers.
Right.
The occupancy is pretty low.
And it's getting worse now because people have had to move out because of the cash crunch.
Yeah, because of the cash crunch, people are moving out. Actually, you're having people coming from those high end and now coming to acquire affordable. Yeah, because with affordability, that is where there is the key. I can assure you, with affordability.
That is where the bulk of the
if the high end can come down slightly, you will find that the uptake will be more.
So when you talk about these high-end houses, they have been highly priced before, well, unaffordable now for the lower end of the market. Do you think that this pandemic will make the prices come down?
There's this concept that has been really tarnished. It's called Offplan housing. And Offplan housing, because that's what we are doing, we have realized it gives the solution to the expensiveness or the high prices of the houses. Because you find the developers, they at times get loans, and those loans have so much interest that they are servicing. So you find that those developers, when the prices of materials go up, and also the banks are demanding, or they have to get their loan back plus interest. Yeah. So with that, you find that as much as the developers of the high-end houses would like them to come up, they are not able, because they are at a fix. They are highly pressed with the interest. But now with the affordable housing, because it's something that it's like a partnership between the home buyers and the developers, you find that like for us, we secure a piece of land, and we invite potential buyers. We are selling to them the hope of owning a home at the initial concept of design, and they bring their money. Yeah, so the customer may go and get a loan, as opposed to the company getting the loan and paying high interest. And by that, you find that we are able to do affordable housing, because it's like teamwork. We have customers who are getting the money, and for us, the thing that need to be looked at is the delivery. Because you listen to customers who are complaining with the off-plan concept, they are complaining not because of the concept, they are complaining because the delivery time has been long, or the delivery time not delivery as they expected.
The off-plan idea concept, it is largely dependent on trust. And as you said, there have been quite a number of players before who have let down their customers, hence tainting that off-plan concept. So are you telling us it's not as risky as it looks, or what does the Kenyan expect when they get into an off-plan concept?
You have correctly put that the off-plan concept is basically about trust. And those people who had started it's not a very old concept. Even the people who have been in the industry, and we actually appreciate them because they started the thing. But I don't know whether they made some challenges. That is why they were not able to deliver. And that's why I would like maybe even the government can get involved, because even what the government is doing right now by the housing, affordable housing, it's basically off-plan. Because it's a fund that has been opened, people start saving, and in one way or another, they get to understand who will get the houses first. Yeah. So it is the same concept. So the concept is not, actually it is the best, and it is the only concept that can give Kenyans affordable housing. I don't see anywhere else we can get all that money to come and build houses and give to people. People also have to play part, and they chip in, and by that, it's not that risky anyway. You just need somebody who is trustworthy, like us, Mizizi Africa Homes Limited. Okay. And I believe others will come up, and I believe the government will give even more support. Yeah, actually we are looking forward even to the time the government delivers, and we are encouraging the government. It has done something that is brilliant. Affordable housing as one of the big 4 agendas is something that is commendable. We as private developers, we have tried it, and it is working. Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about housing now in the counties. Of course, there's the Nairobi, the dynamics which are very different. For the counties, the housing deficit is there, especially now that devolution is continuing to, open up spaces and opportunities in the counties. So what can county governments or just the local authorities do to assist this sector grow locally?
One thing, because we also interact with the counties, we are happy that the counties, they are coming up with things they are calling zoning. And zoning is whereby they are identifying areas that can be used for housing, affordable housing. That is maybe within the towns. They are coming up with areas that can be utilized for construction of houses, affordable houses, coming up with commercial building and such. So the county already, the ones that I have interacted with, we can commend them that they have started that zoning, so that also people don't do haphazard construction. Yeah, and at the same time we need agriculture, because at the end of the day you have to eat. Yeah, we normally say that the 3 basic needs: food, shelter, and clothing. Yeah, so we need food, we need shelter and clothing. And by what the counties are doing, having zoning. You find this is a town, they are having boundaries. Within this area we can do such and such developments. So if they continue with that, and they also partner with the private developers, and they invite private developers who have tried, and we'll also get to, like for us, we are very open even to get to teach how it is working. We also teach them, they implement it. Yeah. Sometimes when the government is implementing such a thing, there is that conflict of interest, because basically the government comes up with the regulations and other people get to implement. But now you get this one, they are the one who are coming up with the regulations and implementing. So there is also that thing that needs to be looked at. And so what we are encouraging, if there can be public-private partnership, the counties also engage private developers. Yes, they come up with the rules, but they also include the private developers. I think the issue of conflict of interest would be done away with, and these things would come to fulfillment, and the counties can meet the demands of their people, and also the national government.
In the quest of achieving these affordable housing, both for the public and the private sector, there is the issue of the building materials that are used here. Most people only know our houses, brick and mortar, leta mawe, and the sand and all that. What is the place of the cheaper building technology now at this point?
I remember there was a concept that had been started actually by the government, and it was to try and lower the cost of construction. And it works very well, especially where there are the materials, the brick and mortar are not locally available. But where the brick and mortar, like you are able to get the stones and sand within, when you do the costings, it's cheaper. Because the most expensive thing is the transportation. So you can find maybe in a county that is far away, there are no stones. Maybe they have to get stones from maybe, like, Darugu is the most famous. You are taking stones from Darugu, maybe taking them to Kisumu. The fuel that will be consumed on the way is so much. And maybe there is no quarry, of which I'm talking about, I'm just giving an example. I don't know whether Kisumu, there are stones. Yeah, so some of these technologies can be very well implemented in areas that the materials are not locally available. And there are those fabrications. There are certain fabrications of which they are also very good, because I have had interaction with them, and they were to be rolled out in Kenya, but I don't know what happened. But they are good, especially in the counties that are don't have the locally those brick and mortar. Like for us, for now we are in Mburu, Kenyatta Road, and we have Juja there, stones. So for us, the construction is very, it's much cheaper. It doesn't make sense to bring those ones while you have, because at the same time you also want to grow those locals, those doing the quarries.
When you talk about the materials, the brick and mortar materials being readily available in Kenya, does it mean that the fabricated material is not much available in Kenya?
Those, according to what I understand, they normally come from outside.
Right.
Yeah, they come from outside because there are some fabrications, then they are filled with the concrete. Yeah, some of the things they come from outside, but concrete cement is locally available. Yeah, so it's a mixture.
So that means in Kenya there is a market for that. There is a place for manufacturing of such materials, right?
The market and the resources are there. Actually, as Kenyans, as Africans, we are blessed with the resources. You find things like stones, things like sand, things like all the cement. Those are things that are locally available here in Kenya. Yeah, we just need to increase and support the companies. Yeah, also the industrialization is part of the affordable, Big Four agenda. Those people also are given support so that we can also produce cement here cheaply. We can produce concrete here cheaply. We can produce some of those things. So what we need to import, there are just some very few things.
All right. Another thing that definitely affects the prices of houses in a very large scale is the price of land, the cost of land. It has been argued that the cost of land in Kenya is exorbitant and highly unregulated. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's very true. Like we understand in Kenya, the rule is that it's willing seller, willing buyer. Yeah, that is the rule, and with that it makes the cost of land to be expensive. The government maybe some of the land belong to the government. The government can subsidize. Actually, I think by subsidizing and encouraging people actually to sell and maybe move to other areas. Yeah, if you can sell some, you have for example, you find people, you are sitting on a land that you are not using for agriculture, and that land you can sell at above 10 million. And with that 10 million, you can take that money and go and to somewhere agricultural, and you get like 10 acres. Yeah, so if people can be more enlightened and encouraged such, I'm sure the land that is within towns and maybe the land the government can advocate for development would be found at a cheaper price. And they can also they can give incentives. They can give, maybe if it's a private developers, they are given that some soft loan by the government, which you pay over time.
Let's now talk about the mortgages in Kenya. It's quite a big issue. Just right about 30,000 mortgages in the country, in a population of 4.7 million. 47 million people. That's pretty low. It is said that these mortgages are highly unaffordable because for a household you need to have about 200,000 combined income on a monthly basis to afford a mortgage. That is very high for any average Kenyan. So what are your thoughts in ensuring that the mortgage uptake is even increased?
For one, when you're taking a mortgage, I have had experiences of customers who want to take a mortgage, and sometimes they go to the bank and they are given maybe the cost of getting the mortgage. You see, even before you are given the mortgage, already 500,000 is gone. There are so many costs: valuation, legal fee, stamp duty, internal facilitation. You do those costings before you are even given the money. Already 500,000 is gone. On top of that, interest for mortgages. you do you're given a loan of 25, a loan you will pay in 25 years. But when you do the costing, the money you will have spent at the end of the day, it is so much. It is so much it loses the sense. How would you be paying your house for 25 years, all your working life? By the time you are done, also houses also depreciate. That's a fact. You have bought a house, you have paid over 20 million. By the time you are done paying, you have now retired, and the house you can't even resell at not even half, even quarter that price. Yeah, because you have stayed there, it has depreciated. Yeah, so mortgages, I think with the partnership of the government and maybe the outside, like Kenya, we are very much highly favored by God, and we normally find it very easy to get Eurobonds, to get financing from the outside market. Yeah, the government you hear government is getting a loan at 1% interest. If that can be passed on over to the Mwananchi is given that loan, and they are paying 1%. Without these other costs of other costs, you understand the ones that I'm talking about of the legal fee, what have you. You are given a loan very easily, and you pay 1%, and you secure an affordable house. Even if you pay, I'm telling you that loan, so not so many people will take the 25 years. Yeah, you want to clear within 3-4 years, and you acquire another house. Now this house you will use as collateral. You will not even need now that loan from maybe outside or from anywhere. Now this one you will buy, you will use this house, you get a personal loan, you use your house as collateral, you acquire that house, which now you become an investor. Now you are not only a homeowner, you are an investor now, the second house. You invest, after some time, resell now to somebody. You will also not be greedy, because you are also assisted, isn't it? So don't make so much profit. This house has costed you like 3 million. Sell at 4.5, make 1.5 in maybe a year's time. You have assisted another person, you have been assisted, or you can have rent. And when everybody does that, even rent will be very affordable.
Do you think that mortgages have a future, so to say, in Kenya?
Yeah, mortgages as they are now, they are not viable, to be sincere. As they are not viable. They are not helping many people. They are helping actually a very small group, which I don't know which one. So they need to be restructured. But something that is working very well is the SACCOs. SACCOs are working perfectly, and SACCOs are now even starting to appreciate that getting guarantors. You know, the thing with SACCO, the problem was guarantors. So we have had SACCOs that now we are working with slowly they're embracing the idea that they can fund somebody who wants an affordable house, and the person just needs to save for let's say 6 months, and they are given 6 times their savings. And that house, they understand the title may not actually be out. They will look at the agreement that we have had with the company. Yeah, that also makes the company that you have a big responsibility. You need to be somebody who is straightforward. Yeah, they use that agreement. They are given 5 times. Then when the title comes out, they are given the title as collateral. And by that, you find that you have saved maybe 700,000. You are given 5 times. That is 3.5. You have had your house. You repay that loan in a matter of you are given up to 4-5 years. You clear even within a shorter time, because now you are not paying rent. The only thing you are doing, you are servicing the SACCO, and you know SACCOs are not that strict. It's a 12% reducing balance. You just need to show that you are paying your loan, commitment. If you need to restructure, you restructure. Yeah, so if the SACCOs, like all SACCOs, can take up this opportunity, it's a big opportunity. And also the mortgage, they need to look at the structure, and they may also need to be assisted so that they also give at a lower interest. You know, so banks are in business. Definitely. Yeah, so if they can be given support, and I think there was that thing that the government has supported so that they can give affordable mortgages. Yeah, I think it can work. Otherwise, the way they are, something needs to be done.
As you look at it now, the coronavirus has hit, the sector is definitely struggling. What is the future, the near future for the industry?
As much as this pandemic has come, we are grateful that it is not as bad as we would have imagined. And another thing that we are happy with is that now people have realized that some of the things they saw as luxury, they are not the luxuries. People now also need to continue even educating each other that it's very important to own a house, no matter whether you are in the diaspora. Like people in the diaspora, they are returning the money back to Kenya. Those people, they just, even if they are giving their families food for eating, it is not adequate to make sure like the dollar is stable. They need something that they can invest back, because at the end of the day, people in the diaspora need to come back and retire back home, because life outside there is very tough. Yeah, it's expensive, it's tough. You have to have 3-4 jobs. Yeah, actually, people in the diaspora are working very hard, and we here in Kenya, all we can do is support them, so that when they are giving back this money as an investment back home or their homes, we don't disappoint them.
Right.
Yeah, which is something as Mizizi we have taken very well, and we encourage other people to take up that role, and by doing so, we will stabilize the economy. The pandemic will have taught us a big lesson. We don't need to waste money on things that are not important. Yeah, we need, like for example, somebody gets a job, the first thing they buy is a big car, they start enjoying life with a big spoon. No, let us first of all create a good foundation, a good base. Then luxury will automatically come. You have your home, you are going back to. Even if you take 1 or 2, where is the problem?
Yeah.
But imagine you have not paid rent and you are drinking, or you're even taking meat, and the landlord comes. Yeah. Yeah. So
mentioning the diaspora market, there have been quite a number of stories of people sending money to their relatives' home, and they come back to a house which never was, So the sector, how are you treating now the diaspora investments in Kenya?
Actually, it's a very sad story, because you find that person comes to retire back home, they are happy, they say goodbye, they come back, only to come and find nothing. Those people, they get depressed, and they get depression, and actually, unfortunately, even some die, and even some even commit suicide. Yeah, so this is something that needs to be taken very seriously, and the money of the people in the diaspora needs to be taken well care of. I don't know whether there can be a certain regulation. The government can look at the whole thing very carefully, and have a way that people who are returning money, if it's a house they are constructing, it needs to be constructed. And that's why, like us as a company, maybe a family, there's nothing much you can do maybe to a family member. Maybe it's your uncle. You'll just maybe fight them for a minute or for a few hours, then what do you do? But if companies can be held to account, this person was sending you to purchase this. Yeah, and like for us, we normally do regular updates. They need regular updates, and again, when they come, they find what they were paying for. Yeah. So if maybe the family members, it would be difficult to put them into account, but maybe now the companies. Yeah, and definitely it's much easier. Yeah, they are put to account, and also the companies become accountable. You don't have to. What we need to do is to support the government. Yeah, and also the government supports us. So it's a win-win at the end of the day for us as developers, for the government because it's people, and for the diaspora people, and for the Mwananchi at large. Yeah.
So accountability and transparency, very important things to have. All right, as we come to a close, what would be your closing remarks, and just speaking to the future maybe of this sector?
Yeah, so what I would like to do is I would like to give Kenyans hope and Africans, and this pandemic has shown us that for sure God loves us, and we are so much privileged because a majority of Kenyans are so much educated. So we have that advantage, and when they're educated, they go outside there, they're able to bring back money. And also who are here, they are not choosy. We are working in any sector and very hardworking. Kenyans are very hardworking. So if we continue with that spirit, we'll come out of this pandemic stronger and a better people.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's a very good way to close the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Okay.
Well, that was Mr. George Mburu. He is the Chief Executive Officer at Mizizi Africa Homes, and we have been discussing matters the real estate sector, specifically housing. He has said the sector has seen quite a slump at this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, but it is not hopeless. There is hope for the future of the sector as even the economy picks up. That is it from me. My name is Betty Kiptum. Do continue watching Business Insight. Bye-bye.